are to, one, provide students with knowledge and experience which leads to critical reflection, new perspectives, and understanding of global health concerns and disparities. The second goal is for students to gain tools through which one can advocate and influence healthcare systems here and abroad. The third is to provide experiences that foster personal and professional growth in the area of cultural competency and global citizenship. I can speak for myself, and I think the other leaders, that we had a wonderful group this year, who we certainly hope achieved a lot of these goals. But if any of you have ever participated in a program like this, it takes a lot of time to let things sink in, let things settle, and really take away what you're meant to take away from an experience like this. So I'm just glad that we have an opportunity today to hear from our students about their experience and what are some of the ways in which they've achieved those goals. So I'll leave it to them, and they'll also be introducing themselves. So thank you so much.
Alright, I'm Kristen. I'm one of the physical therapy students who went on this trip. And first I'll just start off with a little short clip. And it's our one-word reflection, which became kind of a popular thing over there.
Tim, one word, Ethiopia.
Awesome.
Carrie, one word. What was it?
Conjo.
Konjo. Beautiful. Beautiful. Amber, one word.
Takasha.
Takasha.
Felicia.
Strong. Strong. Felicia, one word. Oh, wait.
Oh.
Mara.
Truna.
True. What does that mean?
It is good.
It's all good?
Yes.
It's all good. One word.
Go best.
Go best. One word. Conjunto. What does that mean? Astounding. Cool. How do you really feel?
Very, very good.
Go Regis. Go Regis, Ethiopia. Yay.
Alright. So that video was actually taken in one of the rural communities, Gondar. We were able to go on a hike on one of our off days. Just absolutely beautiful, as you can see. And kind of similar in altitude and landscape as it is to Colorado here with our mountains. So, obviously some of you are familiar with Ethiopia and with Regis' partnership there. But I, along with 8 other physical therapy students from Regis, went with just a healthcare team and mission. 2 of our faculty joined us, Dr. Cheryl Footer, who's here today. She's been in previous trips, and then Dr. Tim Notoboom. And Jeremy Lee joined us midway through with 2 nursing practitioner students, one of whom is here, Kelly Creamer, and we'll kind of be sharing some of our own personal experiences while we're there. Okay, Jeremy kind of touched on already the goals of international service learning, but I hope that from today's presentation, you'll just kind of gain an awareness of, first of all, just what we did on our trip for 4 weeks. We were there from mid-March to mid-April this past spring. And then just gain tools or just ideas of how you can be involved, whether it's with this trip or in the local community here. Just ways to be inspired to take action, to be a philanthropist. I think that's one of the things we took away in general. Just not only stay involved in Ethiopia, but just to get involved in our local communities. And then also to appreciate the complexity of the clinical setting in a developing country. Just quite different from what we may be used to here in America. A little bit of background. Ethiopia is located in the Horn of Africa, just up there in the northeast corner. Population 83 million, most of it is rural communities. Per capita income anywhere from $95 to $100 a year, roughly. Average family size has 6 children. And right now the life expectancy is 54 years, but with the current HIV trends going upward, that expectancy may decrease to about 46 years pretty soon here. And then about 1 in 5 children die before the age of 5. Now, I know these stats are kind of daunting and negative, and stuff. We learned all about this in our global health course before we went to Ethiopia. But really, once you get over there and you meet the people, you experience the culture, it just, everyone becomes alive to you. And these members, it's a good background to understand the culture that community grows up in. But by no means was it a negative experience or negative relationships. Just to touch on redismission, how ought we live? A question we were posed with our entire time in school here. But I think more so that we all ask each other growing up, whether you come to a Jesuit school or not. And just to highlight the 4 pillars: leadership, community service, transformation of society, and social justice. These were in the back of our minds and on the forefront of what we were doing in Ethiopia and then during our time in Denver here throughout school. Now Ellie will kind of touch on our actual experience in the capital of cities.
So our trip was broken up into 2 parts. The first part we spent in Addis Ababa, the capital city of Ethiopia. And here we spent time volunteering at different healthcare organizations and touring a variety of different organizations. And our group was split up between 4 different clinics, and this allowed us to have a wide variety of experiences with lots of different healthcare settings and lots of different patients. So the first setting is the Black Lion Hospital. The Black Lion is the largest hospital in Ethiopia. It has 720 beds. And just to give you some perspective, Denver Health has about 470 beds. So it's just under twice the size of Denver Health. So the PTs who worked here got a chance to do inpatient, outpatient, and also got a chance to work with lots of different Ethiopian physical therapists, and at the same time there was a group of Swiss physical therapists working there. So they got a really unique experience, and we got to talk with not only Ethiopian PTs but Swiss PTs as well and kind of make connections that way. The next clinic was Yucata 12. And Yucata 12 is more of a community-based hospital. It's one of the poorest hospitals in Ethiopia. It's also the only hospital to have a burn unit. So all patients who have burns in all of Ethiopia travel to the capital city to be treated here. And this is the hospital that Jay and I worked at. And we had a really unique experience. There's not a lot of equipment to use here, so we got to be very creative. We also got to work with a lot of burn patients. Because of their lack of medication and things like that, the treatments were very painful. So Jay and I devised a way to help patients get through this by practicing our Amharic for them, which was met with lots of laughter and a lot less tears. Also, we got a good relationship with the PTs there, and they all called me the skyscraper. Because as you can see here, I tower over almost all Ethiopians because they tend to be very short in stature. The next hospital is the Korean hospital, and this is kind of the opposite spectrum to Yucata. They have all sorts of resources, and the best part about this experience, I think, for those students was getting to work with Roba, and Roba's pictured there. And he actually is involved with Regis University through the online program. So while he's in Ethiopia, he gets to go online and participate in some of the same classes that we're taking in the United States, which is a really cool connection. So he was really excited to work with us and spent all of our downtime practicing skills together and talking about the things we were learning. And the final one is the nurse practitioner students, and that is in Yerevan, and Kelly's going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute. So while we were in Addis Ababa, not only did we want to learn from the Ethiopian PTs, but we also wanted to get a chance to share our knowledge with them. And so we wanted to do something that would last long past when we were finished being there. So a lot of times in Ethiopia, the mornings are very busy, and then the afternoons is kind of a dull time. So we took the chance to communicate with the PTs, find out what they wanted to learn from us, and let them know what we wanted to learn from them. So we would get together in the afternoons and we'd have teaching sessions. We'd bring in research that we had available to us, and we would do sessions on different things from low back pain to all different sorts of chronic disorders. Our group in particular was very lucky to get a chance to do some service work and some really unique cultural experiences while we were in Addis. So we got a chance to go to the Mother Teresa Orphanage, the Mother and Child Rehabilitation Center, and the AIDS Feeding Center, and just share some of our